All right, y'all, so I'm back. Antone, Crime Time with Tone, here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Got the good, nice sights over here. So I've been gone for a little minute. Been out here working, so I haven't posted nothing in a while, but finally decided to cover a couple of cases out here. So today I'm going to talk about Ivanice Harris. They also called her Ivy. So she was 29 years old at the time of her death. So she's from Portland, Oregon, but lived in Vegas. So I'm gonna go over, I'm kind of working backwards as far as video wise, just because the other couple locations I got, it's kind of high traffic, a lot of people area, so I kind of hear myself talk on here. So this is where they found her body at, along this kind of road right here, and then I'll go by the other locations as I talk about them, or show them a little bit later. But so Ivanice and her boyfriend Mark Miles Jr. and friend Jillian Jabides went to Hawaii to celebrate Ivy's 29th birthday. So this was in May of 2013. So Ivy and Jillian were close. They also had like tension between them because they're both in love with the same person, Mark Miles Jr. I was talking about. So on May 16th, 2013, Ivy left her hotel room about 1 a.m. in the morning to go to, she went down to walk to a nearby restaurant called Kelly's O'Neill's. It's like a bar. So and I'll go by there a little bit later, show the location, but she stood outside the bar. She wasn't allowed to go in because she actually was a prostitute. So I don't know if it was because bar policy, or I'm guessing it's her boyfriend's policy. So the thing is, the reason why her and Jillian like the same man, because they found out later on he was a pimp. So they were actually in Hawaii not only for her birthday, but to also work and get money and stuff like that. So Jillian went out later that night and got back to the hotel about 6 a.m. and noticed Ivy wasn't there. Her and Mark called their phone, and they said it rang one time and then went straight to voicemail. Later they called police, and Mark admitted he and Ivy had an argument because she was jealous at the time about something Jillian had did. I guess Jillian and Mark was cuddling or being really close and all that kind of stuff. So she got jealous at the time, and that's why she left and went by the bar by herself. And Mark said he did get a text from her about 3:43 a.m. saying she was going to the Ashton Hotel, and I'll be going by there a little bit later as well. So with all this information, police checked surveillance of the bar and at the hotel. So when police checked, they seen Ivy at 3:28 a.m. showing Ivy standing outside of the bar, and then a white male exits at the bar and turns back to talk to Ivy. So they see this on camera, and they kind of talk for a little bit, and then he actually takes her to the hotel. At 3:41 a.m., Ivy and the white male was seen on the video at the Ashton. It's the Ashton Waikiki Beach Hotel. Going on the elevator. They're like friendly, holding hands, kissing. So the thing is, they had cameras on the elevators, but they didn't have camera on the hotel floors. So once I got off the elevator, camera no longer knew, which room they were going to. So at 5:58 a.m., the same white male gets on the elevator with just him in a large suitcase. So when he brought the suitcase down, you can see that it was heavy, because when him and the valet attendant put the bag into the car kind of shook a little bit. So it's kind of, you can tell it's something heavy in that bag. So he arrives back at the hotel at about 9 a.m. and he changes into his uniform, which is the military uniform, and then he leaves for work. So police didn't know initially what room they were coming from, so they had to look at the records, and there's only one room where it was one male and a single room with a single bed who declined room service, and it was 39-year-old Nathaniel Crosby, who was, like I said, a Marine. He's from California. So now that they got this information, they got his name and what he does, see that he's a Marine. After they get all the details and see who it was, they got his name and that he is a Marine. They want to arrest him, but at this time he had went to China, and so they had to wait until he got back to the US to arrest him. He was in China, and while they waited, they just kind of gathered information or gathered evidence as they waited. So they had time until he got back. So at this time, so by the time he does get back, they'll have a whole lot on him. So, and they seen he had drove 400 miles on the car, and her body was 55 miles from the hotel. On June 5th, he was arrested at the Honolulu airport, and that's when he came back from China, and they were waiting on him as soon as he got back. So Ivy was killed by strangulation. They also found out she was 4 weeks pregnant. They're not sure if she knew or she was unaware, but at the time she was 4 weeks pregnant. Nathaniel did say it was self-defense, basically saying she came at him with a knife, and he had to fend himself off and ended up strangling her. So, but of course the police and the judge and everything, they didn't buy it. So he was prosecuted. I believe he got life. I have to look it up again. I'll put it here in the video, I'm pretty sure. And her body was found in brush near the Yokohama Bay 4 days after she was last seen. So this is Yokohama Bay, the whole area that I've been walking. Now, it is like a mile-long road, so unsure exactly where her body was found, but it was somewhere along this road, right up here around this corner. It's a dead end, so probably wasn't far from around here. But yeah, it is kind of a little wild drive from the hotel. A little over an hour to get here. So, yep, this is where she would have been found. Supposedly it was like in a brown bag, I believe they said. So it's kind of far out here, so I don't know if he familiar with this place or he just kind of kept driving till it was kind of nothing around. But especially if you come here late at night or early in the morning, there's probably nobody up here. This is far from this big city of Honolulu and all the people and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if it's planned or if he didn't know about this, just kind of found it on the way. So I'll go by the Kelly O'Neill's bar and the Ashton Waikiki Beach Hotel and show you guys that. Like I said, I just wanted to come out here and talk along this road where there's no people, because once I get into the big city, there's a whole lot of people, a whole lot of commotion going on. So we'll go ahead and head to the next location. All right, y'all. So yeah, walking over here in Honolulu. Started a little bit early, just to give y'all a little view, a little bonus coverage of Hawaii. But the bar is going to be over here to the left. Kelly O'Neill's bar, where Ivy was standing in front of, and which you'll be able to see on the security footage of her standing in front of this bar and then greeted by her killer later on, Nathaniel. So walking up to where you just seen the footage at, this is right in front of the door right here. This is where they both have met at, right here, as he was walking out. So this is the Hotel of LA, where they would come through here to enter the elevator. So as you can see, they were kind of kissing and all up on each other in the elevator. This is where you go through. I didn't go through there, but you go through here. When you go up here, the elevators is right up front. That's where they entered at. So this is where he would have loaded up his vehicle with the heavy suitcase, which we now know Ivy was in there. And you can see from the video, when he puts it in there, the truck kind of goes down a little bit because it's so heavy. This is where he would have pulled out at and went down the street, and surveillance would have seen him going down and kind of loses him as he goes down the street. But that's about it. like and subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Got one last little clip at the end, but I will holler at y'all later. I appreciate y'all for watching.